up?
Hey, so first inaugural podcast here, so might as well start off by introducing one another. So Alex, I'll let you kick it off.
All right. Yeah. Yep. As George said, thanks for the intro. My name's Alex. And George and I started our Airbnb company a couple years ago, almost 2 years ago. And so we've been rock and rolling with that in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside of DC. I kind of handle all of the, as George likes to say, the boots on the ground operations stuff, getting some new units set up, coordinating with the cleaners, all of the hands-on operations stuff, and been enjoying that ever since. And then, coordinating with owners and George for all of the computer-based kind of stuff. Yeah, so I've been enjoying that so far.
Yeah. Awesome, yeah. And for some context, Alex and myself, college roommates, known each other almost 15 years now. So, and I'm in the military right now currently, so I was on deployment. Alex hit me up and said, hey, I'm starting this Airbnb thing. I, at the time, was just researching real estate investing myself. So I said, I'm in 100%. Came back and we, hit the ground running and scaled from 0 to now 10 plus properties and growing at a pretty rapid rate. Been enjoying the partnership so far, and that's the business stuff. But why we decided to start kind of doing these podcasts here is we're in this pivotal part in the business where it's really starting to scale at a pretty exponential rate, and we wanted to document what it's like at the beginning part where it sucks and we're $40,000 in revolving credit card debt and our credit card keeps bouncing and we need to keep hunting people down for money and all the fun exciting stuff that comes with starting a business. And we've really started to do that actual business portion of it. We're beginning to work on the business instead of just solely in the business trying to survive. So we kind of want to have a journal of that and how it's going and progressing, so we can help other people, whether it be their Airbnb business or just in general, business, which kind of leads into the next thing I want to bring into is why are we doing this? Airbnb is great. It's been good to us. I'm not like an Airbnb guy. There's plenty of Airbnb guys who've been doing this for a decade and really haven't honed in. My big thing that drives me is, creating freedom for my family and myself. And I'll go into that in a little bit later. So my thing to you, Alex, is, why did you start this? What was your why? What's driving you? So, we can share that with other people.
So funny enough, I started this company when you were on deployment. Prior to your deployment, we had talked about getting started in real estate, buying some sort of investment property together. And at the time I was saying, okay, for as far as liquid cash goes, I'm going to need to contribute here. What sort of business can I start in order to help provide some liquid cash to a future deal? And like George said, I had been through the algorithm of Instagram, kept seeing this Airbnb arbitrage concept from different people online, and kind of just started doing more research on it, and then said, okay, yep, that's how I will do it. That I can start this company, and while it certainly is not a get rich quick kind of thing, in the mid to long term, a couple of years and on, there certainly is a possibility to make quite a bit of money when you're doing it the right way. And as soon as George got back from his deployment and we were back in communication again, we were getting the first unit set up. Excellent. Let's step on the gas with this. And fast forward from that point about a year and a half, and we went from that first unit in the fall of 2022 to now spring of 2024, and we're about 10 units or so, with a lot more on the horizon. One of the reasons my why for getting started with all of this was because I wanted to personally invest into a larger deal that, we will still do, but now kind of turned into this. We didn't quite know when we were getting started, but it's been a fun ride. And so, that's kind of my why for initially getting started.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny how that works out, right? Because we started I remember I started researching like commercial real estate investment and financial modeling, and I was like, it's so not me in my wheelhouse, but we were just talking about, we're going to need some capital to get stuff, and then boom, you took that and started it. And now, I just checked today, I think so the last rolling 365 days, we were just under 300K in income, which, obviously we're not seeing all that, but I mean, we have received over close to $300,000 in the last year from people, and lifetime over that. So happy with where it's at and where it's going. I'll go into kind of my why. For sure, I I thought I was going to be in the military full 20. I was pretty convinced that was going to be my path. I had a paradigm shift when my son was born. Financial freedom, just in general, you're free to do things, and the only thing that's inhibiting you is what you dictate. And then purpose-driven life. I've been blessed enough to feel like I had a purpose-driven life, which is what I was doing in the military. I was driving really hard at what I want to do, got there, and I felt like I had purpose. When my son was born and everything happened there and my family started to grow, I realized that I wasn't getting the same fulfillment that I had originally. So I lost kind of that purpose and then was, relegated down to the status level. And then I'm like, well, and theoretically, the only way you can really truly find your purpose in life is if you have freedom, because what we think now as not free people, you can extrapolate what you think purpose is, but you don't really know until you got the dough. So we started thinking, okay, let's get that financial freedom and start by replacing, our jobs, and then move from there and be able to have the latitude to actually see what, our purpose is. And I can speculate and tell you what I think, and what I think I want to do is to help as many people as possible that are hard up in really extreme jobs with a lot of demand, like think military, police officers, firefighters, people who are, working time intensive jobs and don't have a lot of time with their family, and they want to spend as much time as possible with their kids and their family when they can. And to do that, there's a lot of different ways, but we've been, niched down into Airbnb and real estate, but there's plenty of ways, and you can apply business principles to help any of those people out. So really want to start this to start interviewing people across the business spectrum, regardless of their, niche that they're working in, and see how they're doing it, and learn tips and tricks to help, make everyone better and improve and share knowledge and just expedite that level of learning so we can reduce the horizon on which people can achieve that freedom for themselves and their family.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I think it was, it's a really great way of saying it, especially with certain jobs that people, are geographically away from their families for a certain long, distance and time with being in the military, and other jobs, being a former police officer myself, while I didn't have kids and still don't have kids now, but without having kids then, being away for 12 plus hours a day, it's a very, very stressful job. And so there's a lot of jobs out there that people, thousands and thousands of people are in this situation where they have that similar belief, that similar feeling, like they can immediately relate to that. So yeah, I would feel the same way. I'd love to be able to help people, even in a short time, and we still have a lot to learn, but with the successes that we've had, so far with Airbnb, I would love nothing more than to, keep the momentum that we've got going, but be able to share that with people, share whatever bits of knowledge we can, while continuing to absorb knowledge from other mentors of ours.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's like the game is played, because when we started this, you started with a course, you got all this stuff, and then we were at a stagnant point, and I was just like, you need mentors in this. You need mentors. You need to have someone that's doing it. And we just went on the Instagram and started looking at, hey, who's doing it well or whatever. Came across a few people, reached out to some, and then boom, that's how we started, STR Secrets. That was a great mastermind collective. Got exposed to a lot of good people, had a really good coach, helped us, and our goal was to scale. And throughout the entirety of the 3 months or 4 months that we were part of that coaching program, we just had a lot of deals falling out. And our coach kept on saying, hey, you're doing the right stuff. You're doing the mechanics right. It's going to happen eventually, but you guys are doing everything. You're implementing stuff, but we're beating our heads against the wall with deal after deal falling through. Kind of seemed relatively bleak. And then we got, invited out to that Nashville STR Wealth Conference, and lit a fire under us in an unbelievable way. Came back and really started embracing, I think, the mindset stuff, which is, comes across as hokey, but we started doing it, started doing the, the goals, the goal setting, all that stuff, not carving out hours of our morning to create this elaborate morning routine, but 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. And dude, I mean, you can speak to it. 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we were at this point where it felt like finally everything started to click, and we were just getting freaking deal after deal after deal, people reaching out, asking for co-hosting stuff, and getting to the point where we literally didn't have the infrastructure to handle all the incoming leads, which is at the point in our business we're at right now, I'm okay with that problem. So yeah, it was crazy how it started clicking.
Yeah, and actually as recent as, I think it was on Friday, just a few days ago, just 2 or 3 days ago, I'd commented on a post from one of Mike Sjogren's posts, the founder of STR Secrets, and his post was about, hey, who now I have a challenging question for everyone that he posed, on Instagram, saying, hey, we're about 2 months or so post, STR Secrets Wealth Conference in Nashville that we attended. Who still has that fire? It's 2 months later. It's easy to slip back into old routines, this and that. It's a tough question. Who still has that fire? And it was like, bam, hand to the sky. Yes, we're on fire. We still have that same, motivation that we did, walking out of the doors after the conference kind of thing. And I had commented on his post just a few days ago saying, yep, still got it. Everything's, not everything is amazing, beautiful rainbows, but there's still challenges, of course. But the motivation, that fire is still there. And ever since that conference, we almost doubled our portfolio. And I mentioned that in the comment. Everyone, oh, great job, great job. That same night, just hours later, I got a random text, said, hey, from somebody who got my phone number from a friend of a friend or something, said, hey, I want to buy an STR, in your operating area. Can we set up a phone call about that? Texting with him back and forth. Hey, what kind of property are you looking to buy? Oh, I'm looking to buy a 6-unit property where I live in one and we can rent out the other 5. Holy shit. There we go. That's what we're talking about. So, so if something like that were to go through, and that's just like, it's not an accident that something like that is happening. It's, all the work that we've done, connections and just organization, everything that we've been doing. It's like, okay, yep. It's still exciting to get a text like that and a phone call like that. But in a way, it's not surprising because this is the reality of our hard work, paying off.
Yeah. And it's like, open kimono to everyone is like, we were at the beginning and we are just starting. It feels like we're relatively nascent, but I think the biggest goal that I had since we started the business was like, Alex, get you off of working for other people. You work for, you can work on the business and you have your other businesses on the side too. And it's like, it took a while, but we're there now. You're not beholden to other people, and your time, I don't want to say is yours, because our time is definitely not ours. It belongs to
part-time. So it's somebody's time.
Yeah. I think we traded, what you don't realize is, in this service-based job, we trade in our time to a boss, to now several mini bosses, aka the owners that we help out. But it's different though, because we're building something, and we started off with our business, called it Tall Oak Stays. It's now evolved. B&B Guardians is the business, and kind of the way we look at it, we have 3 groups that we serve. The hosts, as we host people, and the guests that use Airbnb platforms. So those guys, we serve them, and we go back to the why and why you do things, and you have to have passion. And the passion that I think we derive when helping the guests is the average American only has 2 weeks vacation a year, and they grind, they work their ass off, and they only have so much vacation time. And if they choose to spend their precious 2 weeks vacation time with us, that's a privilege to us, and we owe them, whether they're staying in a studio or a luxury, 4-bedroom house. We owe them not just a clean room and a place to stay, but an elevated level of service that will make them create memories and experiences, not just, a bland hotel room. So
yeah,
you know how it is, and we deal with all guests, different kinds and whatever, but we try to provide that level of service. The second person that I would say we serve are the owners, and that might be the most difficult subset of people that we work with, because they each have their own unique personalities and what they want to do. But we do owe them. They're paying us for our service, and what we provide to them is probably the logo in our logo here, the shield, the B&B Guardian Shield. We shield them from all the crap that comes with being an Airbnb host. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, there's a lot, from drunk people messaging you at 3 a.m. saying that the lock doesn't work, to find out that they're not, might not be at the right property. All the stuff at the bureaucracy and the admin that comes with just running an Airbnb. So we shield them from that, and most importantly, we give them their time back to spend that precious time elsewhere. And then finally, our employees, Alex and myself, and Alex has a real good hands-on relationship with the employees, but we try to make them better, not only at their job, but try and improve them personally and make sure they're having fun while they do it. That's kind of our big 3, I think. Alex, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I was going to say, just the communication as a whole, I always find really enjoyable, and being able to switch up your communication style, the way that you speak to someone, even the tone of your voice, depending on who your audience is, you need to be able to kind of change the way you speak a little bit. And that's something for me in my own experience in the past as a police officer. I always just truly enjoyed that. One minute you're talking to being a police officer at the beach, you're talking to a kid who like just lost their parents and they're crying and everything. So you need to learn how to talk in a nice way. And then 20 minutes later, you're talking to someone involved in a crime and maybe they're a suspect or something. It's like, well, that's a very different way of speaking. Same thing in this. And so I always personally enjoyed that, just being able to practice different levels of communication. And even now, similarly, talking with employees, cleaners and all the sorts of other people, handyman and things, you speak to them a certain way. Okay, it's all, very matter of fact. What's the task at hand? Let's get through that. And then speaking in a different way with the owners, the people that, at the end of the day, they want to have a good relationship with us, as do we, but their concern is money. What are the numbers? Let's talk through. It's much more professional sounding, type of communication. So while there are challenges in both directions, speaking with owners, speaking with, employees and potential clients, it's all, kind of part of the fun game and that I enjoy.
Yeah, and it's like I'd say the most rewarding part, like from a doing your job perspective, is we are problem solving. Like pretty much that's the whole thing. We're just problem solving multiple different, putting out fires left and right. And then I think the fun aspect of it now is we, have a virtual assistant and some series. We move away from just putting out fires and trying to see where can we prevent fires and set up an infrastructure that supports less fires. So we've been, doing some controlled burns to try and help us out there, but it is what it is there. Yeah,
I've got a water truck. No,
yeah, it's
truck on stand.
It's been interesting, and the business is budding and it's growing, and we're looking at hiring on more people and trying to automate more things, but also scale in a way that our service and our quality doesn't degrade as we scale. It's been interesting, and I think we're just at the start of that. And even from our business level, we talk about the purpose and the why and all that stuff. And other people. The reason like Alex, I'm assuming the reason you jumped on Airbnb is because you take an arbitrage deal, for instance. You get a lease, you put some furniture in there, whatever. That unit, if it's run properly in the right market, it's making $1,000 to $1,500 take-home profit a month. And I try to tell people that like the average salary in America is like right at like in between 50 and 60K. Where are you working at where you can go to your boss and say, I want a 33% raise, and he's gonna be like, yeah, sure, no problem. Probably not gonna happen. But if you get a good unit, and by I say good, I don't mean you have to pay a lot for furniture. I just mean you do it well and you do some research and you do it right. That unit's taking home $1,500 a month profit. I'm no math whiz, but I think that is over 30% for like a $53,000 a year job. And then what does that mean? That means at roughly 10K a unit, like done up nice, startup costs, like all in, if you get 30K saved up, you in theory could replace the average median American salary. So it is so within reach that to me it's like I feel a sense of like I owe it to people that are stuck and they are working a job that's killing them, and they're like, hey, I want to create something else, or let's just say they like their job but it's a really intense job and they're in the military and there's their wife tells them, hey, kid 3's on the way, you can't be gone every 6 months for 6 months, I can't do it anymore, and they have to figure out a way. You can incrementally do this and build up over the course of a year, or if you have money saved up, you can just go all in and just get it going. That's why I think I'm lucky that you jumped on that revenue stream, because I was looking like way out of left field on just trying to jump into commercial real estate modeling and investing, which is now something that we're looking at anyway. So it was, yeah.
Yeah, it is funny, like making different connections, and we could still very well, and we've talked about this, still would like to go, develop commercial real estate and do renovations and things like that. But while that is not exactly the beginner's game, Airbnb, it's this Airbnb arbitrage concept. It was advertised to me as like, hey, anyone can do it, right? And that's the funny thing. It's like anyone can do it. A lot of people do Airbnb, maybe, one unit or something. Maybe it's an English basement at their house and they're just doing it to supplement some, monthly income. But there's also a huge difference between, just doing Airbnb and doing Airbnb really well. And that's what we are, really trying to elevate ourselves into, is getting, going beyond just, 2 units or 1 unit like the vast majority of Airbnb hosts have, but at the same time, not sacrifice quality and the experience that the guests are paying for. And, we want them to have. So even just recently, I think we're about a year and a half exactly after starting, and we just got our, I think, 421st review. Still have a great rating, about 4.94 stars, over 420 reviews. So, and the funny part there is, a lot of people don't even leave reviews. So it's certainly not that we've only had 421 guests, but it's easily a couple hundred more. So it's that's been fun. But
yeah, it's been interesting to see, and I think now I want to start recording our journey and some of the pitfalls that we've fallen into to help other people. I want to start bringing people on that have different lenses for different businesses, or even within the real estate world, just to hear their opinion. And I want to distill, yes, everyone and their mother has a podcast. The average day-to-day isn't super exciting. I think our goal is to take the week's worth of events and distill it down to a palatable 30 to 45 minute experience that can share with you the highs and the lows of the week or the month or whatever, and you guys can take that and consume that data and utilize it in your lives. So I think moving forward, we're going to try to have a mix of guests providing some updates and projects and pain points that we have, and then if we have a win that I feel like isn't just gloating but a way to share with you guys and a way for you guys to get better, would love to pass that along too. And Alex, from his perspective, has just an insane amount of knowledge on what it takes to operate these things from the operational level. That is, I think, where a lot of the bread and butter of what we do is he instinctively knows what to do. Whereas, I find myself in San Diego looking at things from a time delay, trying to figure out, improve upon the systems that Alex is doing in a way to make it easier for him.
And that's been really fun because there's so many different things. Like, some people might say, oh, well, that's like, how do you do that? How do you run your business on literally, opposite coasts like that, California and Virginia? And well, it actually works out really well. It would be easier, of course, yes, being in the same spot, but everything balances out really well, particularly with creating systems, developing systems, on the computer. Everything's organized and so a lot of the things that I either have been doing or do now to get a new unit started, or ongoing things with, cleaning checklists and, certain procedures like that, SOPs, if you will. So with certain procedures, happening and systems, those are coming from California, and they're on, nice and organized. And then again, even if they weren't already, George is creating things, or sometimes we're taking what we're already doing and then putting it on the computer in a nice organized way, something that, as we start onboarding, new employees and everything, then that'll make things much smoother for as we continue to grow.
Yeah, it's just funny how it works, because if you were to tell me that like there's administrative functions that I'd perform, I would laugh, because in my current job, my least favorite thing is administrative functions. But there's just something different when you're doing it for yourself, building it out for when the purpose is there. It makes all the minutia and crap that we deal with and all the bullshit, it makes it more palatable, because it's not just you and me, and it's not even just your family and my family that we're trying to help. It's the burning desire that like we can elevate people around us, other people that we might not be in the same state, same country, but we can help them. And just it's an abundance mindset. There is plenty to go around. It's not, this small pie that we're hoarding. There's enough to go around, and you just have to be aware that there's a game to be played. And I think with that, it fires me up every day. It keeps me motivated through some of the bullshit shit that we deal with, which there's plenty of, but there's a purpose there it's what keeps me going, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Alex.
Yeah. I'm really excited to keep moving forward. Excited with what we have going on right now. Getting several units started at once forces us to, learn new things as we're going. And while previously setting up 1 unit at a time, now going on 5. And it's been pretty, like George said earlier, it's been pretty rapid growth, and we have more on the horizon. So very excited to keep moving and excited to kind of keep, talking through everything hopefully on a weekly basis. And yeah, next week we can kind of recap I'm sure the storms that are just around the corner that maybe quite can't see, but I can get through it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well put, Alex. All right, cool. That's it. We'll sign off now and catch you guys next week. Take it easy, Alex.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. Talk soon.